and nightmares are made of. This surveillance video showing a masked man chasing down a woman through the streets of Philadelphia while she was on an early morning jog.
He chases her, gets in front of her, makes those statements to her, and he doesn't just say it one time, are you ready to die? He makes that statement twice. Then she proceeds to run away from him. She injures herself in the process.
Police say the man was wearing what they describe as a Halloween-style face mask, like a creepy doll, and say he threatened and chased about 6 people last week within a half hour. Jamaica Wilson says she came face to face with him.
I started to run across the street.
So he saw you?
He saw me starting to run, and he started to chase me. So I figured it was smart to turn around and face him.
So you confront him?
I did.
What do you do?
I was like, okay, well, let's fight. I put my hands up. I covered my face.
You're ready to fight him. He's open.
Exactly.
I
I kicked him right in the middle of the chest.
And then what happened?
He stumbled back and then he started to run away.
Police also released images of the suspect without the mask, who they say is between 16 and 25 years old. You can also see him holding his cell phone in his hand, which police say indicated he was filming his actions. What's important for people to know, even if this is done in terms of getting more views on social media?
Some people might find this situation to be funny, but rest assured, we do not. We're taking this very seriously. We are going to find this individual.
Police tell us they are confident that they are going to find this suspect. They wouldn't say whether he directly harmed anybody or hurt anybody, but they did say that they have received helpful tips. And when I asked about what are the charges that he could be facing, they said terroristic threats, harassment, and intimidation, among possibly others. It's what horror movies and night.
Shalom, shalom. First off, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kadash, and to my elders of GMS who told me this truth. Shalom to them, and shalom to you brothers that scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, preaching His gospel, preaching His word. Shalom to you brothers. Yeah, the story comes out of Philly. You got this man that's in a Chucky style mask, and he just going around chasing women, scaring them, whatever, talking about, he was gonna, are you ready to die? Some shit like that, whatever he told them. And he was chasing these women, and, and I think this lady, she's jogging outside at 5 o'clock in the morning, and it's still dark outside, you still got the crazies, don't leave until the fucking sun goes up, damn near, but, it's still dark out there, and you still got crazies out there, you still got these bugged out individuals out there, and, this is the times that we're headed in now, you know what I mean? As we get closer to the end, you're going to see, these spirits out here, these demonic spirits, walking around, doing mischief, doing fucking, chasing women, you know what I mean? Because, the women are the weaker vessel, you know what I mean? Women are more vulnerable to shit like this, you know what I mean? And, especially if you're nowhere near a man, you don't have a man, or if you some feminist, independent woman, whatever, don't need a man, this is the shit that's going to happen. This is the shit that's going to happen. And this is going to be more frequent. Especially in these major cities, in these big cities, Philly, New York, New Jersey, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Big cities. You know what I mean? Where the population is high, so it's always going to, especially if you're attractive looking woman, whatever, and you out there jogging or doing whatever, you're gonna get, probably get approached in a weird way. Someone gonna say some crazy shit to you, whatever, chase you, whatever. You know what I mean? And these women are not prepared to protect themselves and fight against no man. And this is the times that we warned about the prophets. For you women, you women that are at ease. And just thinking everything's all right, whatever. You're highly protected by the police, and you got these simp niggas out here, whatever. Ready to defend your honor. You think you're safe. You're thinking you're in a good case, and you're not. And you're out jogging with. There's no one else around. There's no other people around, whatever, at that hour of the day. And you're getting stalked and chased by some weird motherfucker that probably wasn't right in his head. And you're lucky that that's all he did. Because if he was really some mass, some crazed, unaliver or whatever, he would have got your dumb ass. He would have got you. And when he would chase her, he was up on her. You know what I mean? How you gonna get away from that? It looks like he's just fucking with people and just scaring motherfuckers and shit. But what if he really had that spirit of just that spirit of that the Lord put the angel of death on, like he put that spirit on, you know what I mean, to take you out. That angel of death, you know what I mean? What you gonna do now? And these women, they just so proud and just so fucking just careless and just you know what I mean? They just out here, just hard as shit and just whatever, you know what I mean? You always want to have all this attention and being seen all the time. All right, now you're gonna get seen by somebody you don't want to get seen by, approached by somebody that you don't want to get approached by. You love all this fucking attention and shit, especially if you look like something. You got a nice body, whatever. You got a pretty face. Y'all stay on social media, TikTok, whatever, these OnlyFans, whatever. You know what I mean? You're gonna have motherfuckers like this chasing your ass. That's why, especially our women gonna have to get in order. They're gonna have to get in order very soon. Or shit like this is gonna happen. That's why Isaiah 4:1 says what it says. These women they're gonna have to get back in order again. Like he would chase. I don't know. It could have been an Edomite woman of another nation. They gonna get it too. Especially if you don't have the covering of a man. They gonna get it too. So, let me get a couple of scriptures, and we're gonna close out. Lord willing, this be edifying. Let me get. I got it queued up already. Okay, I'm gonna get Ecclesiastes 39 and 28. Okay, it says Ecclesiastes 39 and 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made him. That's right. That's the Lord bringing up those ordering those evil spirits to come upon the earth. Those evil spirits coming upon man to do the Lord's bidding. You know what I mean? Especially with these fucking hardy ass women, these wicked ass women, I mean, evil spirits in general, but a lot of these evil spirits are going to come upon these women. It's going to be evil everywhere. All kinds of men are evil, but especially with these women. Esau then, basically then, feminized, just with this whole feminism and just, the woman can't do no wrong. If a man and a woman commit the same crime, the man to get more time and then the woman to get the less time, and they did the same crime. I've seen it. Well, it's a lot. What the hell? It's a lot. But yeah, I've seen it. They get all the rights. The men don't get shit. They get dogged out. You're treated like shit. And those spirits, man, they're gonna, man, you're gonna have a lot of evil in that day. You're gonna have a lot of evil in that day, especially when in the time of Egypt. That kind of evil. When all the youngborn, whatever, the firstborn of the Egyptians were put to death. Then the Israelites, that had the blood posts on the doors, whatever, they were kept safe. It's going to be that time of trouble coming upon this earth, especially here in Babylon. It's just so much wickedness, just everywhere. You know what I mean? Like I said, especially with these women, they don't give a shit about families and you know, being a wife, being a pillar to your husband, you know, being a helpmate. These bitches get now they you know, you get your little whatever 6-figure job or whatever, you know, living comfortably, living plush. Now you don't need a man, so now you just out here running 5 o'clock in the morning for a jog, you know, trying to stay in shape. And nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with, you know, getting a little morning exercise in the morning. But do that shit during the day or in the afternoon where there's people around, you know. She out there by herself, and that crazy ass dude just, you know, he out there just, you know, bugged the fuck out with a Chucky mask, chasing women and shit. You know. Also, my I think I had another scripture queued. I just don't. Let me see. Oh, Micah 7 and 10. Let me get Micah 7 and 10. Okay. Micah 7 and 10. Then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is the Lord thy power? Mine eyes shall behold her, and now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the streets. That's right. And that's, you know, that's really talking about our women of the nation of Israel, you know. You so-called blacks, you West Indians, and you know, you blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans, you know. Talking about you women of the tribes, you know. But eventually, you know, this is going to come down all the women of the nations and shit. You know what I mean? But really, it's talking about our women, you know. Our women, you know, that disregarded their men, you know, felt like they don't need no man, you know. Government taking care of you. You got a nice paying job, you know. All that's going to cease, you know. There ain't gonna be no jobs out here. Ain't gonna be nothing. Especially when Jacob's Trouble come into play. That's it. People gonna be fucked up out here. Lack of water, lack of bread. You know. There's trouble everywhere. Just men are evil. Everything's just everybody just going for self. You know what I mean? Sedition amongst men. Neighbors invading one another. That's what's going to happen. That's the future that's ahead, you know. And you women don't you don't stand a chance. You don't stand a chance of what's about to happen soon, you know. You have no hedge of protection or nothing, no covering, and you're just going to get caught up out here in these streets. That's the judgment that's coming down. Especially if the ones that, you know, where it says, where is the Lord thy power? To the prophets, you know what I mean? Talking shit, scoffing. And then that's when the Lord's going to show himself, you know? Through the trials and tribulations. And you're going to get stomped out here. You're going to be trodden down. You're going to be beat down. You're going to be ran the fuck over. That's what's going to happen to you. You know? So, Lord willing, this will be edifying. You know, this is the brother Mayala from the Men of Valor camp. Until next time, Shalom.